Howdy y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name's Aaron Cavley and we're going to now continue the further adventures of Jinx the Cyberpunk, as he is for the first time driving outside of the walls of Neon City that are built. They're thick, they're weathered walls, they're the flood walls designed to keep the weather that has ravaged the rest of the world out of the city. He has just just exited a tunnel and is in the storm. His vehicle is immediately buffeted, and he struggles to keep control as the tracker on the inside of the windscreen, or the display screen that he's looking at, starts giving him directions, prompts towards the location of the tracker or whatever signal Slab was talking about on the container. The storm is raging, and the digital display, it's protecting him from the lights, but it is recording these lightning strikes that are just coming out of the storm that is surrounding and covering Neon City. So he goes up, and he knows he's in a race for time. So he starts as best as he can, trying to pick his way through. And the vehicle itself is wonderful. It handles, well, as best as possible to handle going over this debris strewn wasteland outside of the cities. And he's constantly having to swerve one way or the other to get around some box. If the computer on board can't identify it off the bat, it just kind of gives a rough outline from its sensors of what it is, and it looks like there's cargo containers, smashed vehicles. He swerves around something that he swears looks like some kind of VTOL that must have tried to get too close to the wall or something. But he also knows that some of these things have been out here for years, that the storms have been raging for a long time. I have added his buggy down at the bottom. I'm going to give it, because it's tough, that will also help with some of his rolls. But because it's tough, I'm going to give it, five hits, and it's going to take damage as he's getting out there, because he's racing. He's having to drive pretty quick. So I think the first thing that we will do is we're going to make him just make him roll as he gets out. All right, so we're going to use his rev head and offensive driving edges, or rev head trademark and offensive driving edge. So that's going to give him 4, or that'll give him 3 dice, and I'm going to, since this all-terrain vehicle, I'm going to give him 4 dice. So he's going to get 4 action dice. The task for this is to just get there as speedily as he can. And depending on his rolls, he may have to roll multiple times to get through the storm. Because every now and then, little warning lights will go off, reporting this nearby lightning strike. And he's nervous, but he's still jazzed up. He's on adrenaline, and because he's fearless, he has that fearless from his daredevil trait. I'm not going to make him roll anything right now because of that, because he's on it. He's kind of humming and going woo hoo hoo. So 4 action dice, difficulty, and because it is a pretty bad storm and it's his first time driving it, I'm going to give him 3 danger dice. It's new, it's storming, and even with his vehicle being tough and designed to do this, it's a completely new experience for him. Let's see what we get. All right, a 4 and a 4. Oh, but 1 4 cancels. So he barely makes it. Okay. I think I'm going to A 4 gives us a result of there's some kind of consequence. I think that consequence is that he's driving it rough. He's having a bit too much fun. He's going over, and as he is making his way through, he's quickly reminded that he is in a completely new place as he goes woohoo, getting it into the air, and then one of these gusts from the storm take the vehicle and almost flip it over. It lifts it off to the side, and he comes down, bounces hard, his teeth, slam shut in his mouth, even with the suspension, the advanced suspension, and everything else. And he, okay, all right, all right, all right, calm down, calm down. What are you fucking doing? This isn't play day. This isn't a grid game. Jiminy fucking Christmas. So he takes a breather, and he continues on driving through the storm. It's buffeting. The display shows something big flies across in front of him, being lifted by this wind that's just twisting the buggy every which way. Is it one cow? Is it two cows? Is it the same cow? But there's a warning sign saying, nearby electrical disturbance, and he looks over to the side, and it's like a lightning bolt that is going, that's making connection not too far away, and it's just staying there almost like seconds, 30 seconds, almost a minute. And as he's driving, trying to get away, and then it follows with this thunderous boom as the thunder kicks in after that massive mega lightning bolt. That it shakes the whole buggy. It vibrates. You can feel it in his teeth. And now he's going to continue on. I'm going to make this an extended test for him to get to where he's going, and that's just to get there. Give him the same, but I think this time I'm only going to give him 2 danger dice because he has got his head out of his ass now. He's focused, and he's getting used to what it's like, but it's still dangerous out there, right? I mean, it's a complete mess. Whew. Okay, once again, he barely makes it through. He's bouncing and trouncing, and it looks like as he's going a little more carefully, but he's still going through. So that's again, it's kind of a weak success. So one of the sensors on the vehicle that covers part off to his right here, like maybe looking out part of the passenger side scanner, it flickers and then goes dead. The whole section of the panel is dead. And he's, fuck. Well, I hope no one blindsides me. And he's going on. Got one more success to roll, or failure. Well, many more failures. I guess he can fail until he gets blown away in the storm. One success, one success. Ooh, okay, good. So he got a success. He got a full success that time. So he's now focused. He's got the rhythm of the storm. It seems like, even though it feels like the storm's ready to just lift him up off the wheels. He knows that there is like a gripping technology on those all-terrain vehicle wheels, which is why he asked for it in this storm. But he's got it this time. He's got the feel of the storm. He's got the feel of the vehicle, and he's getting closer and closer. And over his head, over his grid connection, it's very choppy. Even just this far outside of the town, it's very choppy. Jinx, you're getting close. Be careful. I don't know how many there are. I know there's 2 vehicles. And I can oh, fuck. All right, the drone just went out. From the flash, it looks like it got zapped by a fucking lightning bolt.
They're all out of their vehicles right now, scounging around pretty close. You're going to have to look to the sensor, follow in, and look, Jinx, shoot first and ask questions later. These guys are not going to fuck around.
And so he does. He grits his teeth, but he's still focused. He's driving through the storm, and up ahead, he sees the two vehicles, and he asks, "Do they have this same signal that we're following, or is that just us? Is that just you? You have it? Do they have it?"
I don't think that they do. Otherwise, they would have found it already. But these scavengers, this is the guy's name is New Flamel. He knows what he's doing. He works out here all the time. He's a scavenger. That's how he makes his living. He pulls in these old things. I really don't know why he normally goes after all this shit that's out on the walls. It's all ruin. It's all waste. But the Razor Girls have him after my treasure this time. So no, I don't think they do.
All right. All right, I'm getting close. I'm almost right on top of them. I'll let you know. And so he's driving closer, and the scanner on his vehicle picks up and identifies these two vehicles that the scavengers are using that are close, kind of parked close together, probably about 15 yards apart. And it describes them as a type of they're outdoorsy type vehicles. They're not quite as spiffy as what he's using right now, though. And as the details show up, they're kind of beat up. It looks like the outer skin is all scratched and ripped. It almost looks like it's missing in places, but they'd have to have something. This isn't the type of environment that you would take a vehicle missing a car door into, unless maybe you were very desperate. But he doesn't see anybody nearby. He's got his lights turned off, and so he stops for a moment, and he sets the kind of below a rise of junk out of sight, hopefully. Of course, he knows that maybe he could be seen already. You can't tell all the time. And he sets the wheels to grip to full traction, so he can sit there for a second. And he realizes that his pistol is on the inside of his suit. So he takes a moment to undo his suit and transfer it to the outside on a belt on the outside, on a utility belt on the outside. Puts his suit back up. And since they don't have it, he's going to try to see if he can scare them away. Because he's not necessarily against shooting them, but they outnumber him, and he doesn't want to get into some kind of gunfight, especially outside in this. He doesn't even want to go out in it. He's kind of he's kind of dreading opening the door to go retrieve it. He probably should have asked for a drone. Oh well, too late now. So he goes driving slowly towards the direction that the little sensor is pointing him. And they're looking through the containers and the junk that gets blown up against the city walls constantly by the storms. There's a bunch of debris all over the place, and so he's trying to go slowly over it, go carefully over it, and he sees somebody up ahead. They show up on his on his scanner, and then there's somebody else next to him, and it looks like they're hunched over, kind of pushing stuff out of the way. Well, they worked with the bounty hunter, so he guns it. Well, he doesn't squeal tires. It's not really that kind of... He's not on asphalt or anything. But he revs it, and tries to head toward him. I'm going to say, so he's actually trying to, he's trying to hit them. I'm going to give him 4 die again because of his vehicle. Difficulty 4, and I'm going to say this time, because he has come up on them sort of surprised. Well, or has he? Let's see. I'll give him 1 die 6. The higher the roll, the better for them. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna say that maybe they're on guard, but because of the storm and the raging noise all around, they just don't see him. So I'm gonna give him 0 danger dice for this. All right, so he gets 2 successes, but the 6 is the one that counts. So he gets exactly what he wants. He drives through and he sends these 2 guys flying right at the last second. He can see the outline on the scanner of their faces, and they've got some kind of mask, so he can't see the expression, but he can imagine what it is as his buggy goes tearing over the landscape, and they go bouncing over the top of his his buggy. Well, let's see. Actually, that's kind of a high-rise buggy. Yeah, so they actually go under his buggy, not over. They go under his buggy, rolling, and he can kind of hear them hitting the bottom as he plows on through. And he's just going to leave them. He doesn't know what status they're in. He's hoping they're not going to get up and shoot him. You know, in Neon City, you never know how tough some people are. Now he's going on. He's getting closer and closer to where this signal is taking him. How close are they? The higher the roll, the closer they are to the rest of the crew is closer to discovering. Okay, so they are getting close, but it's not imminent. So he's still tracking. He's still tracking. But I think that they're probably using radios, something that at least short range. These scavenger crews, they're using radios. So they heard the other 2 scream, even if they weren't able to give any kind of coherent warning before they got run down. So he sees another guy pop up on his screen, but this guy is facing him, and the storm is all over the place. Boom, boom, boom. And it looks like the guy has seen him. He's trying to raise some kind of rifle, some kind of long arm. The display doesn't give enough detail, and he's not some kind of gunhead necessarily that he would identify it immediately. So he's going to do the same thing. He's just going to try to run him over. He's getting close to there. He's just going to keep going on through. I'll give him 4. And because this guy is kind of expecting it, and I'm going to give 1 danger die. And if he flubs it, then the guy's probably going to get a shot off at him and jump out of the way. Oh, he doesn't even. That's 2 6s, so that's a boon. So he plows through the guy, and the guy just folds over on top of the buggy, and he doesn't move. He's pinned there somehow, and his arms are kind of flailing in the wind. And let's see, what would the boon be? I think the boon will be that there is somebody else nearby, and he sees him just for a second, and the guy takes off. It looks like he is getting ready to raise a rifle, maybe something bigger. Who knows what these guys have? But when his friend gets hammered onto the hood and is, stuck there flopping around, that guy takes off. He runs away, and he's going to be out. So that's one less that he has to take care of. And he's right on. He's right. He's almost right on top of where the thing is pointing to him. So he pulls around, and he doesn't see anyone in the immediate vicinity. He drives for just like another minute, and this guy is still stuck on his hood, and he's doing this weird dance in the wind. His head and his arms are flailing back and forth, and Jinx stops because it says that the thing is very close. He doesn't want to risk running it over. And so he takes a deep breath. He snaps his mask on, gets his pistol ready, makes sure that it's on there good and accessible, and flings open the door, hops out and closes it. And he's immediately buffeted by this wind, and he has to grab onto his buggy. And he realizes now that maybe those guys weren't bent over digging through stuff necessarily, that maybe they were just down low so they weren't getting blown off their feet. The water, it's a testament to what a good vehicle it is, because the water's almost over his knees, but the vehicle has been able to go through it without sliding too much from this flood water. And now he's got a connection in his goggles to the sensor in the buggy, so he still has some kind of guidance directing towards it.
You're getting close now.
And he can hear just a bare crackling of Slab's voice in his headset. You can just barely hear it, and in fact it breaks down, or it doesn't break down, but he can barely hear it at all. As Jinx pulls himself forward by the rails on his buggy to the hood, the storm is just whipping around all around, bearing around him. The wind is howling, and he stops for a second, and as he gets to the front, he sees the guy that he hit, and he's not exactly sure why he's still there. He's stuck somehow on the front, on the grill. He's either pinned by something. He doesn't know, but he doesn't have time to fool around with it. He doesn't really care about the guy. But it is very macabre because this dude is still. It's even creepier to see it in the flashes of the lightning, because it's very dark. It's very dark outside. And his goggles do provide some light enhancement, but and as he sees the actual body instead of through the scanner that was on his screen, it's moving back and forth, and the man is obviously dead. The front of his mask is shattered. There's blood pouring out. He did not survive getting struck by that vehicle, by the buggy. But he doesn't care. Jinx goes forward, and he's really struggling as the wind and the wind and the water and the lightning nearby. Now that he's outside, he can feel the explosion of the thunder going on. He can feel it shattering his teeth, or not shattering his teeth, but jarring his teeth He's getting closer. He's getting closer. He's 10 yards away. He's 5 yards away, and he's trying to pick out something that looks like this container that he's seeing. Let's decide. Is there someone nearby? Is there someone nearby? I'm going to say the chances are good. Because he took care of 4. He doesn't know how many there are. Slab was not able to tell him exactly. But he knows there's 4. Maybe there's more. There's 2 vehicles worth, and who knows how big the scav crew might be. But I'm going to say that there's a good chance that there is at least one other person nearby, using my handy cards. And the answer is yes. Just the... Okay. So as he's getting closer and closer, he thinks he can see the he thinks he can see the box up ahead, or at least the signal is highlighting. You know, it's kind of like these little pings that are very strong, very very nearby. He's almost standing on top of it, and he looks down, and he shoves some stuff out of the way. He pulls it. It's an old shitter seat, and the door to a 2110 Ford gazebo or whatever. Just all the stuff that gets blown around. It looks like a door to a house that was maybe built in 1987. It's old and smashed, and definitely old style. But there he sees it finally, and as he's reaching down to get it, this mechanical arm, it looks like a mechanical tentacle, boom, slams on top of it, and he stumbles back, and he gets pushed over on his ass by the wind into the water. His suit is keeping him from being soaked, but he can feel the coldness of the water. He can feel its pressure on him now that he's kind of sat down in it, and he looks up, and there is this man, very big, and he has these mechanical grippers, and they look almost like little excavator hands with little appendages on them, like it's designed for digging through stuff, reaching into dangerous places. And he has 2 tentacles, 2 mechanical arms that look to be coming over the top of his head, kind of like a Doc Ock looking thing. They gleam and shine in the lightning. And he says in this mechanical voice, "Thank you." And Jinx doesn't know if he's got some kind of modulator for some reason, or if maybe he's speaking through a speaker box because of the storm to amplify. He doesn't know, but it freaks him the fuck out. But then again, he's fearless, and this guy's a freak, and he's obviously there to get that, and he's not going to let Jinx get it away from him. So Jinx, without even trying to get up, he reaches for his gun, and he just tries to unload on the guy. So I'm going to make this dude, his name is New Flamel, which was just something that randomly came up on some name generator tools that I use. Let me set him up here real quick. Okay. Now there's no tentacles, but he looks kind of like a guy wearing a mask in a storm, at least. So just imagine little cyber tentacles over his shoulders. Now I set him up as kind of a cyber brute. I want to make him a challenging guy because he's a leader of the scavenger crew, and so he's tough. So I've built him after a cyber brute kind of thing. And so let's get right at it. Let me kind of refresh what he has. So he's gutter scum, and he knows how to fight dirty. So I don't necessarily think that's going to apply to all of his skill rolls, but I think at least first off, because he's getting the drop on him, because he's fighting dirty, he's not even giving the guy a chance to do his evil villain monologue or whatever. He just immediately goes and he's shooting for the guy's face. So that's going to be one, two, yeah, one, two, three, and his gun has auto fire. And I think I'll say if his gun does, maybe if he rolls poorly, that might lead to him have, wasted his magazine. But let's see. Oh, not you. Action. So that'll be one, two, three, and then four for the auto fire because he's trying to get the as much as he can right off the bat against this guy. And this guy kind of surprised him, and he's tough. He's got armor. He's just a tough guy, and he's got a lot of cyber strength. So I'm going to give 2 danger dice on this roll. Oh, 0 successes. All right, so he goes out. Oh, 3 ones. Oh no, it's a botch. He botches it like big time. 3 ones, and and the danger dice cancel out his 2, so that's like a complete botch. So he goes and he pulls his gun out, and right before he's getting ready to shoot, he takes aim. This cyber tentacle comes out and grabs his pistol and crushes it and flings it off into the storm. And Jinx is like, well, I'm fucked. And he is. So he's now disarmed and he's in the water. He's at a very distinct disadvantage against this guy. Jeez, he doesn't even really know what he's gonna do now. Well, he's gonna use his best weapon. He's gonna try to get up and get to the car, get back to the car, and see if he can get away. Maybe this guy will just let him go. Not likely, because he's killed at least 1, possibly 3 of his crew. So it's not likely. Oof, that was like the worst roll you can get. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to say not only does he take his hit for failing, that it hurt his hand. His hand is now injured because of that. He's injured and he's unarmed. He lost his gun, so I'm not going to apply a second condition like injured hand. At least not mechanically, not yet. So he gets up and he looks for. He's going to try to get up and get out of the way. As the two, as these mechanical tentacles go wailing and flailing at him, trying to claw and grab him around the throat, he's going to try to get out of the way. And for this, I think I will allow him because he's Daredevil. The Daredevil allows him to be fearless and athletic, reflexes, and take the initiative. So this is a completely defensive role. Again, one of the things I've done is I've kind of rolled everything into player facing. Only the player rolls. If it's contested roll, if he wins, he gets what he wants. If he loses, then he suffers the consequences. And in the case of combat, that means that if he misses, then he takes damage. If he succeeds, then the other guy takes damage. So he's fearless and he's reflexes. So I think that's actually going to give him, because he's not freaking out, even though he just lost his weapon. He's fearless. Again, his fearlessness is kind of based on nihilism. So he just says, "What the fuck ever?" What? Or sorry, wrong voice. What the fuck ever? In his head, and he jumps aside. He's getting out of the way and looking for something to pick up to try to club this guy with. But first, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be 4 dice. 2 for his Daredevil attributes. But I'm going to give 2 danger dice because, well, this guy's pretty badass. Ah, excellent. Okay, so he leaps out of the way and he gets a 6. So he does find something. Oh, well, now he's thinking about what that other guy had on him, the one that's pinned to the front of his vehicle. He may have a weapon, so he's kind of distant. Let's see. All right, so he definitely ducks out of the way. The tentacles, the mechanical grippers come flinging and snapping, and he jumps out of the way. He splashes in the water, scoots, jumps behind some old smashed up refrigerator as these 2 things plunge into it trying to get to him, and then they lift it up off the ground, and he's like, "Fuck!" And he jumps out of the way at the last second as it tries to slam down on top of him. And as he's looking, part of what his action was, it was kind of to look around. I'm going to give a dice 6 to see what kind of, see if he finds anything useful. The higher, the better for Jinx. Okay, so he finds, like an old piece of rebar or something, something. Not the best, not the best thing for him, especially given this, this thing. Trying to do melee on him is going to be difficult because he has extra limbs, and those limbs are very strong, as he knows. So he's going to book it. He flings it at. Well, no, he doesn't fling it at him. He pretends like he's going to throw it at him like a spear, hoping that it will get him some, just even maybe a split second, and then he tears off. The wind is he's still tearing and blowing, and the water, and he's tearing off is the wrong idea. He's kind of struggling, leaning into, getting buffeted around. But so is New Flamel. But he has an advantage. He's more experienced with this stuff, and his body has been modified. His cyber gear has been modified to work in this environment. But he's going to Jinx races towards, well, again, not racing, but struggles, that's a better word. He struggles towards his vehicle, whether to get in it and try to run the dude over or to see if the other guy has something strapped on. He had a rifle, but I'm going to say that probably got blown away. When he got hit, because he was getting ready to raise whatever this rifle was, and then that's when he got hit. Let's see. So the task is to drive to speed towards the through the storm, and I'll give him 1 die for his reflexes. His fearlessness is not going to help him with his mobility, but his reflexes, I think, will help keep from tripping on things or jumping out of the way of the wind that's still just blowing debris all over the place. So 3 dice, difficulty 4. I'm gonna give 1 danger dice because this dude has these these cyber tentacles. Oh, look at that. 6. All right, so Jinx, he ducks aside, and his reflexes help him as he turns just in time to see one of these tentacles go flying towards the back of his head, and he jumps over to the side, but he runs, and he's looking back, and New Flamel is he's not nearly as fast. He is stable. He's able to hang on and grip into the storm better, but he's a little bit slower. And Jinx gets to the car first. The water's trying to rush over. Let's see. On a 5 or a 6, they both have to make some kind of roll against the storm just to see if anything interesting happens. Oh, okay. Let's see. So what? Let's see. What would that be? What would that be? Okay, so just like a little a tornado. Well, not a tornado, but very strong winds blow them both around, and it hurls a bunch of this debris and rocks and old cars or whatever. He can't even see. He's got the low light in his goggles, but he can't pick up a lot of details. But he sees several things that have been blown, and they're flinging his way, and he's picturing these old pitchforks and blades and saw blades and flying Sharknado, whatever, and he tries to leap out of the way. I'll give him his reflexes. I'll just call it a straight roll because the other guy's going to have to roll too, I think. Okay. Somehow tonight I don't know why I've restarted a couple times, but the dice on the roller aren't always they're not really matching up what's coming on the side. So I'm using the side. I probably should turn off the dice roller, but it's fun to watch the dice roll across the screen. All right, so he got a 5, and with that he succeeds. Doesn't get exactly what he wants, but he is able to leap out of the way, but he ends up having to slow down because he basically dives into this knee-deep water, and it makes him lose his footing and lose his grip because, unlike his vehicle, he does not have super grip soles on his shoes or his hands. And so he ends up slowing down a little bit. You know what? I guess I will just I'll give the other guy. I'll give him 3 dice too. No, I'll give him 4 dice because he's used to it. Let's see how he does. Oh, 0. Oh, no. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. All right, so he manages. He got a 6. So he's used to these sudden bursts coming in and these storms. New Flamel is, and so he detects them right away, and he ducks down and he uses his cyber claws to grab a piece of debris nearby. It looks like an old part of a steel wall from an old construction site, and he lifts it up just in time, and he struggles against the wind, but the debris bounces off the plate, and he holds it there, and he continues to try to make progress. But Jinx he's gotten there. He's got his rebar still in his hand, and he's going to do a quick look to see if this scavenger has any kind of firearm ready, like in a pistol on his belt or something. The higher the better. A 4. I'm going to say that's not enough. The scavenger may have something on there, but not enough. Nothing visible. Nothing that he wants to try to risk. He's lost some of his lead. He's going to try to leap into his vehicle and run over this. Use his best weapon, his vehicle. He's going to leap into his vehicle, if nothing else, to try to keep New Flamel from tearing him apart. So that's going to be, I'm going to give him 3 dice. And I'm going to give him 1 danger die because, oops, not 4, 3. That'll be his base die, his daredevil, and then his reflexes. I'm going to let him use his reflexes to get in the car, you know, do all the things that he needs to get in quickly and shut it. And hopefully he won't pull some kind of 80s slasher movie and drop the keys and fall down, and then get torn to pieces by New Flamel. And 1 danger die because New Flamel did close that gap, whereas Jinx had to kind of fall in the water. Does he get in? 2 successes. All right, excellent. So he manages to get in. He gets in the vehicle. Water sprays and fly all over the inside. Of course, it's designed for this kind of weather, so it's not going to short anything out. It's just their water gathers up in the in the cup holders, and Jinx is able to slam the door, and now he's going to immediately try to rev backwards because he wants to get out of. He doesn't want New Flamel to like jump on top, so he gets it and he starts it. And he revs backwards. And as he revs backwards, let's see, is he able to? I'm gonna make it roll 4 dice, and then 1 die because New Flamel. He of course knows that. Well, he can see the guy on the hood of Jinx's buggy, so he knows the guy is running people over and is otherwise unarmed because he would have done something else. So can he whip backwards and get away from New Flamel before New Flamel tries to New Flamel is running towards him, and he's got this strange, almost like an ape-like what do they call that, gait, where he's using his legs and his mechanical tentacles over his shoulder to get up there. Almost a boon, but the danger die canceled out, but he still does get a success. So Jinx peels out of there. The New Flamel looks like he's able to grab onto one of the rails, but Jinx hits reverse and powers through, manages to keep the vehicle in control, and New Flamel's arm stretches out, and then it doesn't pop off, but the gripper opens up as he pulls out of New Flamel's grasp, and New Flamel is now reaching into his coat. He's obviously he's pulling out some kind of weapon, obviously, and Jinx, he's jamming it forward, and he's going to try to hit New Flamel, even though he doesn't have a lot of chance to build up speed. He's going to try to I don't know, I keep going over there. He's going to try to run over New Flamel, and I'm going to give him the 4, and I'm going to give him 2 danger dice because New Flamel is pulling out a weapon, and he's expecting what's going to happen. So he's leaping aside and trying to make sure that he doesn't get run over. Oh, all right. So he gets a boon. Let's see. What should the boon be? I'm going to say that he does the damage. And so New Flamel, he reaches in and he pulls out what looks like some kind of heavy-duty assault rifle. He pulls this weapon out. Again, now Jinx is seeing again in the kind of the rendered screen inside of his buggy. And he sees him pull it out. and Jinx is able to jam forward. New Flamel tries to psych to one side and then leap the other, but Jinx isn't having any of it. He sees it right away, and he whips around and he hits New Flamel. New Flamel goes flying off to the side, and his gun that he had pulled out gets smashed underneath the vehicle. It gets caught in one of the bars up front, one of the grill bars, and as the buggy goes forward, it gets twisted and thrown away. Jinx doesn't know this, but New Flamel, his main weapon, is now gone, and Jinx is now just he's now just running around trying to run over New Flamel, and New Flamel is doing everything he can to get out of the way. The vehicle is tough. I don't know. New Flamel may be able to cause damage to it. He does have, mechanical mechanical arms, and he's got the tentacles. Let's see. Next action. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna still keep give him his 4 because he does have those tires. And New Flamel, even though he's designed for, his cybernetics are designed for him to be scavenging out here. And give him 1 danger die. Okay, 0 successes. All right, so Jinx whips around, and New Flamel, he manages to climb up on top of an old shipping container. He uses his claws. They grip on top, and he pulls himself up and gets out of the way. And Jinx rams into the container and damages his vehicle. The display flashes for a second, and a little warning light comes on. Impact detected. Impact detected. But it's still operable, and now he's pulling back, waiting. New Flamel is up there on top of this container. He's trapped there. And now Jinx is down there. And he's thinking to himself, he could drive closer to the container, but as soon as he gets out, New Flamel, he does notice that New Flamel doesn't have the rifle because he's waiting for him to shoot, and he sees nothing in New Flamel's hands now. Maybe he put it away, slung it over his shoulder, and it's out of sight because he was trying to climb up. But he figures that New Flamel would have been emptying shots into him now. And if he goes over to try to retrieve the container, as soon as he opens the door, New Flamel is going to be driving, or going to be chasing him. He knows it's still in the same place because the sensor is still pointing to it. So they're kind of at a standoff. Let's see. It's a survival vehicle. Does it have anything inside? He didn't really ask for anything. This might be. I've completely been ignoring the stunt points. Jinx has stunt points. And the stunt points allow you to do stuff. Let's see what they do allow you to do. The do. All right. I'm going to use a stunt point to make a declaration. And I think that declaration, since I'm doing solo, it'll be a little bit different. I'll use the stunt point to see if the vehicle has any weapon in it or a useful piece of gear, since it is kind of an outdoor survival type vehicle. I'm going to say on a 5 or a 6, the GM will allow it. Will allow there to be something inside. Okay, so negative. Nothing there. All right, so he's going to communicate. He's going to actually first he's going to start slowly backing away back towards this container. And New Flamel is kind of following along, trying to keep on tall things, on top of the tall debris that it would be hard for the buggy to run into him. And he can only go so far because one, the box isn't that far away. And then as he approaches Jinx, Jinx decides he's going to try to use some. He's going to try to speak reason. He hooks up a. Oh well, it wouldn't be a grid connection. They're outside of the grid. Being a survival type thing, he picks up the radio and he starts scanning the channels. Hey, you out there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me out there? I hear you. Look, we're at a stalemate. I can't leave without this. All you're getting is a paycheck, all right? I cannot leave. The Razor Girls will kill me. Okay, look. Just get your stuff. Pick up your crew, get back to your vehicle. We'll call it done. I'm in here. You get close, I'm going to run you over, and you know it's the truth. If you get out, I will tear your flesh from your bones. Jinx kind of grimaces at the vision of that, and having barely escaped from those tentacles, the vision is quite clear in his imagination. Look, the Razor Girls ain't shit. The Cardinal Vultures, that's who you're up against. All right? You may be scared of them, of the Razor Girls, but I guarantee you they're nothing compared to the Cardinal Vultures. And if you get off of one of your perches, I've got this car programmed to run you down while I grab this box. He's of course lying about that. It may be possible, but he doesn't know how to do it. So he's not really a talker. Oh, you know what? I've been forgetting about his fight dirty. Well, anyway, let's see. He doesn't really have anything that would give him that would give him a bonus. Not in this situation anyway. So he's just gonna roll his one base die. And I'm going to give a danger die of 1 because New Flamel, he's a pretty tough character too. But he might be convinced he's already missing the rest of his crew. Okay. So Jinx does not. He doesn't have it. So he's going to try to he's going to try to in a surprise move, he's going to try to whip backwards to where he saw the container, and he's going to try to drive over it so that you can see that the vehicle, even though there's a lot of debris, it has clearance. He's going to try to whip over it, come to a stop, open the door, reach under and grab the container and jerk it inside and slam the door before New Flamel can get there. All right, so he did not use his stunt point for because the role did not allow. So if I were a GM and said no to somebody who wanted to use their stunt point for something, I'd turn it down. I'd give them their stunt point back. So Jinx is going to use his stunt point to be able to use 2 trademarks. So he's going to use his trademark Azarev head for the driving part, and then he's also going to use his trademark for the Daredevil to be able to use his reflexes, because it is kind of a Daredevil move, right? He's just trying to actually, no, better yet, he's not going to try to go over it. He's going to try to scream backwards, fling the door open at the last second, and then lean out while still driving, trying to grab it as he's going by. So he's going to use his stunt point. Use a stunt point for that. And when you use a stunt point for that, you can use a second trademark. Spend a stunt point to use 2 relevant trademarks and any of their edges in a check. But you can never use more than 2. So he's going to spend it. I'm going to give him his base die, 1 for Rev and drive offensively, and 1 for Daredevil and his reflexes. I don't think his fearless edge, I don't think that's going to apply here. So he's going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dice. Yeah, and I don't think the 6 would help. So 5 dice. And I'm gonna give 1 danger dice because he's doing it very quick. New Flamel, he's expecting something. He may not be expecting that. So I'm just gonna give 1. Come on! Come on, Jinx! All right, there we go. There we go. He gets a 6. He kicks that thing backwards, and he sprays water and debris up in the direction of New Flamel. It kind of sprays on in New Flamel's direction, but I mean, the whole thing's raining anyway, so it's not like it's not like it's going to distract him, but it makes this big, impressive spray, and he kicks backwards, and he's watching New Flamel, who's starting to act. He's leapt down in front, and he's starting to race after, but Jinx is going very fast, and he's going backwards very fast. He's watching New Flamel. He's watching the tracker to show where the box is, and he's looking at the sensor that's showing him what's behind him, and he's swerving back and forth and skidding. The wind still buffeting, and he throws open the door and comes to a halt. He hits the brakes and skids and slides to a halt, spraying water everywhere, all inside the vehicle. And he reaches down and he grabs that container, and it's heavy. It's under stuff. The water's pushing on it, and there's muck. But he gets it out, and he flings it into the passenger seat, and he slams the door. And he's going to try to he wants to go inside. He doesn't really care about New Flamel. He just wants to get away. But he's going to make one last run. He's going to zip back because the entrance back to the city is the other way. So he's going to zip back, and he's going to try to hit New Flamel as he's going. New Flamel is, of course, expecting it. So he's going to be jumping out of the way. So I'll give him 4 dice for his driving, and I'm gonna give 2 dice because New Flamel, he's ready. He's ready to hop out of the way. He's kind of keeping 2 large debris things that he can climb up on using his tentacle things. Okay, so he gets a success. He gets a 6, a full success. So New Flamel tries to climb up on something, but Jinx is he sees it coming, and he swerves, and he pegs New Flamel, who goes flying over the vehicle. Let's see, does Jinx want to run New Flamel down? It's always dangerous to leave an enemy behind you. And he already pissed off that one bounty hunter who he also hit with his vehicle. Start nicknaming him Hit and Run Jinx. Hit and run. That's a good. I'll have to keep that in mind. Maybe that'll become his new nickname, Hit and Run. So he just wants to go. He wants to get out of the storm. He wants to get back in there. But New Flamel, yeah, he's just gonna go. New Flamel has gone flying out, um, and Jinx is heading back towards the city. The storm is still raging, and the lightning is still flashing, but he's back inside now. So the screen is dimming everything and giving him his little his visual display of what's in front of him, kind of mapping things out. I'm going to say on a 5 or 6 that New Flamel is going to come back, is going to come after him. But he's pretty beat up. He's lost his team. Um, so most likely he's just going to call it a day, hide low until the Razor Girls don't get are done being pissed at him. But 5 or 6, he's going to follow. Nope. Okay. So New Flamel, he just fades into the distance, and I will kill you. I will kill you. I will rip you to pieces. I will strip your flesh. And Jinx just clicks the radio off. He doesn't need that kind of negativity in his life because he's got the box. He's got the box. He's got the box. And easy from here. So he's just driving along. He's familiar with the path in. He's got it. So not gonna make him do any more rolls because um, he's on the way back, and he's got a good path. The storm is still raging as it always is, but he's going along, and maybe I should make him roll. Should I make him roll? Maybe I should roll to see if I should make him roll. No, I'm not going to make him roll. He gets back to the Jeep. The navigator is now pointing him back towards the entrance, and he drives down. The storm is still raging. The maintenance gate opens up, and as the doors open, he sees a couple of cars kind of blocking the way, and he sees the very distinctive the Razor Girl colors, white and blue, and the stripes on these cars. And he sees they're named Razor Girls, but they're not all girls. A lot of them are, but he sees several of them kind of waiting there. He says, "Fuck." And then we'll end it there. Because the mission said it was another group. I decided that was the Scavengers and a gang, the Razor Girls. So he now has to deal with the Razor Girls on his way back, and we will deal with the Razor Girls in the next session. All right, I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. Happy gaming.